Here are the items that you're going to need. You're going to need cotton yarn. I'm using the Sugar and Cream cotton yarn. I actually use 1 and maybe a quarter spool. It depends on how big you are, how small you are, how long you want it. Depends on how many spools you're going to need. You're going to need measuring tape because you need to measure the widest part or the biggest part of your body, a pair of scissors, and you're going to need a crochet hook. I'm using size H, 5mm, but you can use the size associated with your yarn. Alright, let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need to do is to measure, again, like I said before, the largest part of your body. For me, that is my hips, or those are my hips. So I'm going to measure around my hips, and my hips measured at 54 inches. But I am not going to, I'm not going to crochet 54 inches. I'm going to add about 6 more inches just so I can have some room to sit and be comfortable and it's not riding up or anything like that. So I'm going to measure a total of 60 inches. So before you even crochet, you're not going to crochet a chain that's 60 inches long. You're actually going to cut it in half and you're going to crochet a chain that's, for me, 30 inches long. So when I crochet my chain is actually going to be 30 inches long. This is not a beginner's video, so I'm hoping that everyone knows how to make a chain, but just in case, in order to make your chain, that's your first starting point to crocheting, is to have a chain. You're going to make a slip knot. From that slip knot, you just start chaining up, or you just start making loops. That's going to be, for this project, 30 inches long. So you're going to chain, 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 or you're going to crochet, 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 crochet until you have 30 inches long worth of loops. And my loops are now 30 inches long. Let's start our first row. In order to do that, we need to count 4 stitches from the hook. We don't count the first loop, we go to the next one. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to treble crochet into the 5th stitch. Okay, make sure you're using treble crochets. I mean, you can use whatever stitch you like, but I like treble crochet for this one. Okay, so we're going to do 1 treble crochet into the 5th stitch from the hook. We're going to chain up 4. So because we chained up 4, we're going to skip 4 of the stitches in our chain, in our beginning chain. And we're going to treble crochet into the 5th stitch. Now, if you want to skip 3 or you want to skip 2, it's up to you. It depends on how wide or how small you want your hole to be. Now, again, this is not a beginner's video, so if you don't know how to treble crochet, then I suggest you do some research before you start this pattern. Okay, we're going to do 3 more treble crochets. Okay, we're going to do 1 in each of the next stitches. And it's very hard for me to crochet on camera, so if you see me make mistakes, it's the way the camera's positioned, the way I'm positioned, it's just so very awkward. Alright, so now that we have our 4 treble crochets, we need to create another hole, pretty much. So in order to do that, we need to chain up 4, skip 4 in our beginning chain, and then go into the 5th stitch. Okay, again, that gives us our hole, and in that 5th stitch, we're going to do 1 treble crochet, and then 3 treble crochets following it. Okay, so the pattern goes 2 treble crochets at the end, and then 4 treble crochets pretty much in the middle of the pattern. Okay, and you're going to complete this pattern all the way to the end. So I will see you at the end. Alright, so I'm at the end of my first row, and I noticed that there's some extra loops at the bottom of my beginning chain, and I can't have that because I want it to be nice and even. So in order for me to, and it's still 30 inches long, so I'm still good with that. So in order for me to make it even, when I say even, I mean 2 treble crochets at each end. So in order for me to do that, I need to release those extra loops that I have there. And I'm just going to separate it, or to pull out the string, so I can make sure that I don't have any extra loops, because that's just going to make no sense as I go through the project. So I'm just going to release those 2 extra loops that I have at the end so that my project can be nice and even as I go through. Alright, so here I go. So now my project is nice and even. I don't have any extra loops, and that is just my tail end to see where I started and where I ended. To see where I ended the first row. So I have 2 stitches at the end, 4 spaced throughout, and 2 stitches at the other end. So now everything is even. Alright, so to move up to the next row, I'm going to chain up 4. And I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to perform 1 treble crochet into the next treble crochet. So that's how I get my 2 treble crochets at the end. I chain up 4 when I get to the end of the row, turn my work, and then I treble crochet into that next treble crochet. So then I chain up 4, skip 4, and crochet into the next treble crochet. I mean, that's pretty much the pattern. Well, that's not pretty much. That is the pattern throughout this entire project. You're going to, when you get to the end of the row, you're going to chain up 4. So that counts as 1 treble crochet. You're going to turn your work because you're going to go back the other way. And you're going to treble crochet into that next treble crochet. So that makes 2. You're going to chain 4. And then you're going to treble crochet into the next treble crochet, and then you're going to continue the pattern over and over and over again until you reach your desired length. That's key. So you're going to keep putting it up against your body or whoever you're making it for, and to see how long you actually want it. I've completed a total of 34 rows. That's how long I want mine, and I measured out where I wanted my neck to be. So in order for me to crochet my neck, I have to use bobby pins as my stitch markers. Now that's why you see the bobby pins here. That separates, or that indicates where I want to stop and start my neck. So I'm going to complete the pattern as I've been completing it all the way up to the first stitch marker, and then I'm going to start creating my neck. So I crocheted 4 up. I'm going to turn the work. I'm going to treble crochet into the first treble crochet and continue the pattern until I get to the first stitch marker, which is the first bobby pin. I'm at my stitch marker, but I'm going to take it out because it's kind of hard working with it. There. Okay. Good. All right. Okay, so now it's time for me to start my neck. Okay? All right. So in order to start the neck, you need to count how many chains there are. Okay? So I'm going to count. So there's 4 here. There's another 4 here. That's 8. There's another 4 here. That's 12. There's another 4 here. That's 16. There's another 4 here, that's 20. There's another 4 here, that's 24. There's another 4 here, that's 28. So I need to make a total of 28 in my chain to compensate for this, okay? So again, that's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. So I'm gonna do a total of 28 in this chain. Alright, so that is a total of 28, okay? And that 28 is the length of this, alright? So let me just take it out so you can see, alright? So this makes up the neck on the other side. So hopefully my big head can't fit through that and it should. Okay? And now, take out this stitch marker. I'm going to put it together. Okay. And that's it. And that's how you join it. And then you keep going to the other side. Okay, so this is what it looks like halfway done. Actually, it's 3/4 of the way done. I sewed together, or I crocheted together one side, and this is inside out. I'm going to turn it around when I'm done. So I crocheted together one side, and I added some detailing around the sleeves, and I'll show you the full product when I'm done. And I added some detailing around the neck. So now all I have to do is sew together. Don't mind my shirt underneath, I just wanted you to see it. So now I have to sew together this side to create the sleeve, and then create the detailing around the sleeve, and then I'm done. And I will show you the finished product when she is all the way done. So I'm going to come closer so you can see the detailing around the sleeve and around the neck area. And these are just single crochets. Alright, so I'll see you when I am going to crochet up the side. Alright, so now I need to crochet the sides together to get up to my sleeves, and in order to do that I'm going to count how many rows till I get to where I want my sleeve to start. And I counted a total of 25 rows, and that's how many rows I'm going to crochet to get to my sleeve. Now, it's no more treble crochets here. In order for me to sew it closed, I use single crochets. You can use you can use yarn and needle if you want, but I chose to just continue with the needle, or with the crochet hook, and just crochet all the way up the sides. Now, this is where I find it's a little bit tricky for me, is trying to crochet in the ends, so I don't have to worry about crocheting it afterwards and cutting it or anything like that. So I have to hide the ends as I crochet. So if you see me struggling a little bit, that's where I struggle when it comes to finishing up any project, is crocheting the ends in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go through both sides to join my yarn again because I cut it when I finished it. So now I need to join the yarn again. So that's what I'm doing here. And in order for me to join the yarn, I'm just going to use a slip knot to join the yarn. Alright, so now that I've joined the yarn, I'm going to single crochet into that same space that I just joined my yarn in. So I'm going to single crochet right in that same space. Now I have an opening where it was the 4 chains that I had skipped before. So I'm going to make 4 single crochets into that space. And then I'm going to make 1 single crochet into that little space that I have, and then 4 single crochets, and then 1 single crochet. So that's the pattern all the way up till I want my sleeve to start. Now if you see that I have on a different watch, because in previous clips you see that I had on my Fitbit, it actually took me 3 weeks to make this, only because I stopped and I go and I stop and I go, because when you're making things on your own, you don't have a time frame, which is a good thing. You can do it whenever you like. I just finished crocheting the sides together. Now I'm going to clip the yarn and start on my sleeve and adding the detailing to my sleeve. And here is the finished product on the sides. Now here are the tails that I was crocheting in before. As you can see, that's the little piece that was left off, and I'll just cut all of that when I'm done. I'm not going to worry about that now. So I'm just going to single crochet all around the sleeve, and again, in order to do that, I need to join the color. Now you can join it wherever you like. You can pick a spot or try to find a spot and join the color. And you're going to perform the same procedure that you did when you're going up the side. You're going to crochet 4 into the open slot and 1 into the little hole that you'll see as you go through it. So you're going to crochet 4, then 1, crochet 4, then 1, and it's all single crochets. So I'm going to join my color, and I'm going to try again to crochet in my tail so I don't have to worry about that at the end. And then I just crochet away. And after I do this part, the project will be complete, and you'll be able to see what it looks like on. Thank you so much for watching, and please make sure you like and subscribe. And this was a fun project to do. I really enjoyed doing it. I love crocheting. That's a hobby of mine. I also knit. So I'll be coming up with some videos for you guys to see, and all of this will be plus size. And it's a lot of work making plus size items. I mean, I can understand why they would cost so much, because it is labor intensive. Like this project, 34 rows, probably been less rows on someone shorter. 54 inches, probably been 30 inches or something. So it is a lot of work, and I can see why things cost so much money when it's plus size. Wanna get married? I'm like, why? That's so funny. Like, 'cause I love you. I'm like,